Marriage is something in the scriptures which permeates both the Old Hebrew scripture and the New Testament. For instance, God always talks about his relationship with his people in marital terms. He is the spouse of Israel. In the New Testament, Jesus is described as the bridegroom. Who's the bride? We are, the community of the church and the individual Christian. So marriage has always been considered a sacrament. Because what is a sacrament? It's a sign that you can experience that leads you to see and understand something that is not immediately seen by you. The bread and wine of the Eucharist are the person of Jesus himself. But all we see is bread and wine. So when we look at married couples living their life in love, we not only see Jesus, the bridegroom of the church, but we see the Father's love made concrete for us. You know, it's very interesting. In the 17th century, Francis Xavier went to Japan and created a tremendous Catholic Christian community. And then one of the emperors came along and didn't like Christians and started crucifying most of them and got rid of all the clergy. Everybody had to leave or be killed. About 200 years later, when European missionaries finally got permission to come back to Japan, they found a blooming Catholic community, which had lasted for almost 200 years without clergy because of two sacraments, baptism and matrimony. In Korea, they had no Christians in Korea in those days. Some Korean merchants went over to buy stuff in Japan and heard the good news and got themselves baptized. They went back and began spreading the good word and baptizing people. And for the first 150 years in Korea, there was a thriving Catholic community, sometimes underground because there were persecutions, but there were no clergy. They lasted for 150 years with baptism and matrimony. So you folks bear a great responsibility to mirror to the rest of us and to the world the love of the Father for all and the specific love of the Father which comes to us in Jesus for the rest of the world to see. Don't take it lightly, because your vocation is obviously numerically more important in the church than that of the clergy or the religious. So that's why the blessings of God always are coming down on the married couple, because what is marital love? It's the only type of love that's in a category by itself. We have love of friends. We have the love of parents for their children and children for their parents. That's almost instinctual. But the love of spouses is purely gratuitous. There is no obligation, no compelling reason for A to marry B, which is a perfect example of the love of God for us and for all of his creation. But let's remember what love is. It's not romantic, although it can be, and it's wonderful when it is. But love means concern for the well-being of someone. And when you got married, you said, I will be concerned for your well-being for the rest of my life. That's my primary concern. And that is what makes married love so much like the love of God, because it's totally and purely gratuitous. So let's rejoice in all those who have helped us over the centuries, especially our own family and parents, in mirroring to us, perhaps even unwittingly, the love God has for all of us.